This was my visit to Auschwitz concentration camp and Birkenau. Very poignant and very sad place to visit. As you can see, entering the camp now, you can see some of the buildings in the distance and some that are nearby. This is before you actually enter the camp. So this was the first camp, Auschwitz I, which was built before the war. Then they moved obviously to Birkenau 2, which was the more larger site, and mass extermination on a massive level was in the second camp. This first camp was very famous for the sign, which is Arbeit macht frei, which means work makes free. And we're walking up now to the gate. Very eerie place. No real noise, obviously. It's such a lot of atrocities happened here, and no birds flying really. It's quite sad. And there's the gate. So this is past the no return point really for many millions of people that died there. You'll have seen many of these scenes in many movies over the years, most notably Schindler's List. Many blocks, at least 25, I think more than that here. Some famous blocks which we'll look at as we go further through the walk. This area here was where the orchestra played. As the workers, the inmates were coming in and going out to do work, music was playing. Moving on throughout the camp. This is a vast camp. It outgrew itself very quickly, which is why they moved to the Birkenau 2, which we'll see later. Many atrocities happened here, as it's been documented elsewhere. Including the famous Dr. Mengele, who did lots of experiments on children, twins, etc. So various of these blocks, which previously held prisoners, will also have many exhibits now, and this was the map of Nazi Germany, where all the inmates were coming from, all these different countries, mainly Jews of course, and also gypsies, homosexuals, many different types of people. I'll show some photographs of some of the inmates. this first block was really just talking about the history. Inmates arriving on the trains, going through selection, whether they wanted to live working or straight to the gas chamber. Normally women and children were sent straight to the gas chambers, which we'll see later. The men were made to work. This is a model of the gas chamber, extermination chamber, which you will see later. Many of the gas chambers in Birkenau too were destroyed after the war, so you will only see the remnants of those, but in this first camp you will actually see the chamber. These are the cans of what's called Cyclone B, which was used to kill the inmates. This was passed through a hole in the roof, the gas, which killed the people painfully and over quite a period of time. Exhibits including human hair, including prosthetics, artificial limbs, glasses, suitcases, etc. are also on display. This is shoes as well. You see a pair of shoes, probably a dead person. Suitcases, children's clothing, suitcases. All the items from the suitcases were sorted, and anything of value was for the third line. Walking on to the next exhibit. Where the barber would put the hair. These are all the photographs that were found. Toilet blocks, wash facilities. Okay, more photographs. Every person, majority of these would have died. Walking on towards the next block, we'll pass the wall of death, where many people were shot against this wall. This building also houses the cells, the stand-up cells. And also the cell of Maximilian Kolbe, who is a saint, canonised by the late Pope John Paul II. This is a room which a capo would be living. A capo was a local inmate who worked for the Germans. These are stand-up cells. And this is the cell of Maximilian Kolbe. Maximilian Kolbe saved the prisoner and was later canonised, became a saint by Pope John Paul II. This is the wall of death where many prisoners were shot. Watchtowers, etc. And we're now walking towards the crematorium, the gas chamber. And this is where prisoners were led believing it was going to be a shower. So they were undressed. And then their fate. This is the house of Rudolf Hoss, who was the camp commandant. He lived there with his family, and this is where he ultimately met his demise as he was hung at Auschwitz after the war in 1947. Now entering the gas chamber, so here is where millions died. You'll see now through the roof there is a hole, and through this hole is where the cans of Cyclone B. These are the crematoria where bodies were burned. And now this is the walk down to the second camp, which is a couple of kilometres from the main camp, Auschwitz Birkenau 2. And this is coming from outside to the camp. So there's the train line, which would go straight into the camp. Where persons would go through selection. So on the sidings here is where the persons were checked, and this is a typical carriage that they would have been transported in from wherever. Then selection was made, and the ones that were going to have their fate was death would walk straight to the crematorium. Here you can see the destroyed crematorium. This was destroyed as the war ended. This is the commemoration points. To remember the fallen, the dead. There are many people estimated between 1 and 5-6 million people that were killed at Auschwitz Birkenau 1 and 2. Again, destroyed crematorium. Unfortunately, my battery on the phone died, so I couldn't record more. Thank you for watching.